Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, hypersonic magic, the magic of life, the brilliance that's everywhere, to mischief, to lightheartedness, and everything that we experience in this physical dimension and everything that we know from outside of it. I've been gone for a week and had a great time visiting with my family that came to California from Florida. Even though my mom lives here in California, I don't get to see her very often in person, but we all got together and had a great time. I feel like it's a great opportunity when you get to change your pattern in addition to getting to spend time with family that you don't see very often. A change in the pattern of your everyday life is quite a magnificent and I feel necessary part of life. It doesn't have to be long, but just a short change in direction, even if you never leave your chair or your house, having a different way you do things. And for me, it was a different bed, different roads, a different refrigerator, a different bathroom. Everything was different. The time I started my day was different. What I did each day was different. So now I'm back into a routine that is no longer a routine, and I'm gathering my sea legs and the awareness to know where things are, but it gives a completely open feeling of breaking away from something that you did routinely that at some point you don't even know you're doing routinely. It was great seeing my two grandsons. I liken the children to the growing up of the human entity and as a human being, where you see the brilliance, you see the magic, you see the falling down and getting up. You see all the parts of a human and a part of their journey through life. My grandson, who was the 4-year-old who, to my knowledge, has been wearing these same shoes for months now, all of a sudden, as we were starting to leave, he didn't like the shoes. They didn't fit right. So we thought, oh, or my daughter and son-in-law, let's change your socks. No, no, I like these socks. Okay, well, we have a second pair of shoes. Let's put those on. Maybe those are too big. Put those on. He got up, started walking. No, it's not right. And you sit there and you watch and wonder what got into their head. And then they tried another pair of socks. And he got up and he walked. No, that's not it. And then finally, another pair of socks. And as he was putting those on to get up, my brilliant daughter said, "Look out of the window. There's a butterfly." And she started running to the door to chase it. He immediately got up, ran behind her, chased the imaginary butterfly a few hundred yards, never again mentioned his shoes or his feet. And I told my son-in-law the story of seeing something on Instagram or somewhere where a guy was a chiropractor or some kind of back doctor, and the woman came in and she said, "I can only bend over this far." And he said, "Okay." And he said, "Sit right there." And she sat in the chair, and he went behind her and picked up a baseball bat. And he came up behind her, and he wanted her to feel him probably. And just as he took the bat up to swing and hit her in the back of the head, she ducked, completely bent all the way over to her knees with her face down to the ground, and, and lifted up and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "How's your back?" And she said, "Oh, it's all good." He said, "Next patient, please." And she got up and danced out of the room. So there's so much compassion and love for each of us as we're going through this as a human being, and you see it all, you've experienced it yourself, or you're still yet to experience it. But just that little bit of mischief and magic changed my grandson's focus, and he didn't even know he had feet, let alone shoes, as he ran after the butterfly. So I had many experiences like that with my grandsons in this past week. And there's a dance between the physical world and the spiritual world that's constantly happening as the music plays. The physical world pulls you towards it and you dance. And then the spiritual world or the spirit world calls to you and you turn your partner and dance in that direction. And this physical planet and the physical beings that live on it, they've taken in so much in the members of their body that they almost can't help but express the physical limitations. And I can feel that in the presence of that physical world or the limitations, it takes great awareness and focus to maintain your reality in the face of another's. Yet it's completely doable, but it's a different world when in the physical world, the main focus is the rules and regulations of the physical world. And they're really not our world. And yet you're always assisting, opening a door, leading a way to something beyond the physical limitations while still being here in the physical world. So as usual, I want to share a few things that didn't necessarily come from this time away, but hear them as you are led to hear them, receive them as you are led to receive them. Only if you believe it. Belief is very powerful, not as powerful as knowing, but very powerful nonetheless. Sometimes people believe so hard that they don't realize that they have entered into knowing. This is the concept of a placebo. The doctor tells you to take this medication to heal what you have been diagnosed of, and you believe that it will heal you. You believe it so strongly that you begin to be healed until finally you are completely healed. You are shocked to find out that the medication was just candy. You then realize how powerful your belief is. You realize that you believed it so strongly that it became your new reality. At some point, you became the knower of your new reality, and you begin to transmit that new reality from the power of your knowing to all 1 trillion cells within your body, and especially to the cells within the diagnosed area of disease. Once you became the knower, every part of your being began to respond to the existence of another reality and began to make that reality the only reality. This is how powerful you are. Sometimes this transition may take days, and sometimes it can take months or even years. It all depends on how long you can stay in the knowing, even as the symptoms may say otherwise. As soon as the symptoms make you feel that the problem is still there, you can easily believe that it is and send that message to those 1 trillion cells in your body, especially to the area that was diagnosed as diseased. Your body and its cells will start to go back into that reality because it has to follow what you tell it. Once again, that's how powerful you are. This will give you that feeling of 2 steps forward and 1 step back as your body goes back and forth between your belief and your knowing. We have taken on so many beliefs. Some can be scientifically proven and some are just wives' tales. But unless you hold on to your own power to change all things, these beliefs will deliver fear and therefore dependency, which is a subtle way of saying you are being controlled. Here are just a few examples of the millions of things we have believed, mainly because we have forgotten who we are. You shouldn't take aspirin or Advil on an empty stomach. You should go to the dentist twice a year. You should have a checkup at the doctor's once a year. You should have a colonoscopy when you turn 40 and then every 5 years after that. You should not go swimming after you have eaten. You should drink a certain amount of water and eat a certain number of fruits and vegetables per day. You should eat more protein and less carbohydrates. You should exercise at least 20 minutes a day. You should buy a house and not rent. You should save your money. You should invest your money. And there are so many more. In reality, most of us are controlled by these beliefs. We are so controlled by these beliefs that we no longer even see them as beliefs or are aware of their presence in our lives. They are passed on as reasonable, smart, and scientifically proven ways to live our life. That may be true in one instance for one person, but they most certainly are not what all 8 billion people on the planet should adhere to. The key word in all the examples that I listed is should. That word comes with an energy of fear, and it is a surefire way to give your power away. We are not in the should business. We are not in the fear business. And we are not in the one solution is the same for all business. We are in the magic and miracles business. And its industry, the industry of magic and miracles, is growing larger every day. Each day we are moving closer and closer to living and working in that industry and living and working in that world. In actuality, we're in the future. We just haven't caught up with it in our being. We haven't yet begun to fully know what we are capable of. By simply transmitting the opposite of what you have taken on as truths, we can change it all. They have given us these beliefs under the guise of helping us, but instead they have been limitations to keep us from using the power that we truly have. The reality where everyone is living in this way is what I am bringing from the future, and it is slowly taking hold within the human entity as a collective. Store up within you the awareness of the reality of the existence of your magic, and you will be abundant all the days of your life. Ultimately, your abundance is tied to your perspective, and your perspective is tied to your awareness, and your awareness is tied to your knowing, and your knowing is tied to your power, magic, and wizardry, which leads you to abundance. You are doing everything that your creator is doing. You just don't know it. You have a hard enough time just believing it. But what is coming in this year of knowing is your knowing. And it is through your knowing that you will end your reliance on the system of belief and its ability to convince you to give your power away and leave you begging for the false power from another belief. Make it your focus and purpose to know yourself as the one who knows thyself. Above all else, choose this path, for within it is the wisdom, power, abilities, and life that you always knew was yours. I add to that I thought about if somebody at work and oh no, it wasn't someone at work. It was someone and they were having it was a female and she was having, her body was getting hot and she said, "Oh, I'm having hot flashes." And I said, "It's better if you just say, I'm feeling hot, because hot flashes is a diagnosis that the world has taken on for millions of years or some amount of time. And to overcome that diagnosis that's held in a whole system that's been here is much harder than to just overcome being hot. It's like saying, instead of saying, my head hurts, I have a migraine. Well, the migraine diagnosis is it's in the whole world. It's like it has this energy that once you say I have a migraine, you take on all of that. My knee hurts. I have arthritis. That's a giant energy. So better to just say my arm hurts and don't attach any belief to any diagnosis, because they're massive and you can easily fix your arm hurting. It takes much more power to overcome a diagnosis of arthritis. You're just renting. Just imagine that you live in a house, a lovely house, and some friends are visiting from out of town, and they are coming to your house for the first time. You ask them if they would like to see the house, and they say yes. And you take them to the master bedroom, into the guest rooms, and into the office. The master bedroom is huge. It features floor to ceiling windows with a deck off of a side door. It has beautiful hardwood floors and a walk-in closet as big as most guest rooms. You show them the bathrooms and the kitchen with its beautiful tile floor, wood cabinets, and an island and countertops covered with granite. In the bathroom, there's a marble vanity with double sinks, a massive walk-in shower, a sunken tub, and heated wood floors. The guest rooms all have built-in dressers and shelving and enough room for a king-size bed. You take them upstairs to the playroom, where you have a pool table and pinball machines and other arcade-like games. The house opens up to a backyard with a beautiful deck and a pool with a hot tub attached. Your friends marvel at your house and with all the furnishings and personal touches that you have placed both inside and out. And as much as you love this house and have come to identify with it deep within you, you know that you are not this house, that you live in this house, but the house is not you. You're just renting. Even if you own it, you're really just renting, because there will come a time when you are no longer able to live in that house. And when that time comes, whenever it is, you will not be able to take that house with you. Therefore, you are always only just renting, a temporary tenant in a place where nothing truly can be owned by anyone. Now, let me introduce you to another house. These are my hands. I use them to hold, touch, feel, and move things from place to place, to work and to do all sorts of things that are required in this physical dimension. These are my feet. They are used to stand upon, to move me from place to place in this physical dimension. These are my eyes. They are used to see in the visual plane in this physical dimension, to take in information to help navigate my movement, and if they are working properly, to see the colors and the shapes of all matter that exist in the physical plane. This is my mouth. It is used to speak these words and to ingest food that delivers nutrients into the cells of this body that is operating in this physical world. This is my nose, which along with my mouth is used to breathe oxygen in and exhale nitrogen out. It is also used to smell the food that I eat and all that is in the atmosphere, which may consist of the sweet fragrance of a flower or the pungent odor of a skunk. These are my ears. They allow me to hear sounds within a range of frequency that I need as a human being in this physical world. If working properly, they allow me to hear the cooing of a baby, the crying of a hawk, the song of a nightingale, the music of the spheres, and every sound in between. These are my legs, which are attached to my feet and my torso. They facilitate my movement through walking, running, or crawling, as well as simply standing in this physical plane. This is my chest, which holds my heart, which produces the power to move the flow of blood that carries the nutrients to the cells of my body every second of every day. It has its unique rhythm, and it is the center of the physical being that is living in this physical plane. This is my head. It sits upon my neck and holds within it a brain that is the control center for all the physical and mental activity that is needed from this material body and mind within the physical plane. There are also two other parts of the body. They're used for waste elimination, one in the front and one in the back. They work with the internal organs known as the liver and the kidneys. There are also within those same body parts the necessary functions of procreation, creating another human being to maintain the existence of the species. There are many other parts to this house, both seen and unseen, as there are trillions of cells and many other organs like the pancreas and the lungs and the intestines and even the spine, all working together in harmony, having no negative effect on the other, perfectly laid out for the ease of its ability to function in this physical plane. A marvel of design, yet simplicity is within the creation and interaction of all the parts which make up the whole. And if you go even deeper, it is the atom that is the foundation for all matter. So as I introduce this house to you, although you have seen it many times, you would have to acknowledge, just like the house with the bedrooms and bathrooms, how spectacular it truly is. And just like that house with the beautiful construction was not you, so too must you know that this physical house is also not you. You are just renting. For it is a place that you are temporarily living in, and therefore your identity with it must remain separate from the true you, the infinite, eternal you, and the divine you. You are not your house, and your house is not you. You are just living in it for a time. And even though you have decorated it with curtains and furniture, clothing and makeup, jewelry and muscles, and even granite countertops, all things that you have personally, that have your personality and essence, it is still not you. It can never be truly you. So feel yourself as the renter just passing through as you decide in a moment to rent something different somewhere else. Everything is energy and a part of the one energy. It is vibrating at a specific frequency, allowing it to appear as a certain piece of clothing, a certain body, a certain piece of furniture in a certain house. Now imagine that you can feel this, and you can feel this awareness about everything in this physical plane, that you can feel that everything is alive and contains the same atomic structure as all things that are matter in this physical world, that when not observed, they return to an energetic wave of infinite potential, clearly allowing us to see that all things are connected, yet at the same time showing us that all things are just renting the physical matter that appears when vibrating at a specific frequency that you require at any given moment. Everything is just renting. And if you can see yourself from this place, all your suffering connected to the having and the not having will disappear and collapse back into the infinite wave of infinite potentials that happen as soon as you look away and no longer observe it as so. Every droplet of water in the ocean contains this reality, and it is all so incredibly beautiful. From a piece of dirt in the garden to the flower that blooms from it, it all contains a love that cannot be comprehended and that includes you. Stop and listen to that love all around you. Feel its vibration resonating with yours, and no longer hold anything against anything, for we are all just renting this physical experience. Enjoy the experience, enjoy your life, and don't be surprised when the knock on the door comes letting you know that it is time to move and go and rent somewhere else. Cheers and happy renting to us all. And finally, the tide is turning. We're changing it all. We're slowly canceling all the belief systems with hypersonic magic and the new awareness that it is bringing. The hypersonic magic logo or image of the little boy with his Superman cape and a lightning bolt in his hand is the picture of how this awareness is being delivered throughout humanity. Written on the lightning bolt in very fine letters are the words, fuck 'em. This is the energy behind hypersonic magic. This is the energy that is there when you move over the ley lines of the planetary grid and hover over the point where two lines overlap. Once you receive this energy, you pass it along to everyone that comes into your field, as well as those that simply come into your awareness. And this happens even if you never utter a word. There is a softness as well as a power that comes with fuck 'em. For as you say, fuck 'em, you also say no more. And through the softness that comes from the freedom, you open yourself to more acceptance of others and therefore more love for everyone. Your first response to no more is to be against. But after a moment or two, you realize that it's not about being for or against, but about happiness and freedom, which are within your control. This will allow you to simply speak the words, "That's not my world," without judgment or reaction. This is what is happening all over the planet. This is what hypersonic magic and fuck 'em is bringing. To the race for the next presidency, you say, fuck 'em. To the politics within the war in Ukraine and Israel, you say, fuck 'em. To the ozone, to the chemtrails, fuck 'em. Every conflict that they push on you from the news is to get you to react and choose a side. Simply say, fuck 'em. That's not my world. They want you to join the fight under the guise of caring. But all we do by choosing a side is keep the conflict going, first within ourselves and then within all humanity. The best way to end all conflicts is by not joining the conflict. It seems as though I'm suggesting that you bury your head in the sand while the conflicts of the world are happening all around you, but that is not what I am saying at all. You will get a signal to engage into an area just the same as you get a signal out of nowhere to call a friend or to send some money to someone in need, or feel that you are transmitting a random healing to someone somewhere that you don't even know. It's like if you have a headache and you get a signal to take an aspirin, even though you've never taken medication. In the same way, you may get a signal to go visit a part of the world and stand in a place to end the headache in that part of the world and bring balance and harmony back to that place. Know that you will, if you choose, be able to do this while sitting in your chair right where you are. And that will be how your signal leads you into engaging with a conflict or problem wherever it is in the world. Most of your engagement will consist of you using your magic, that part of you that can be everywhere all at once, that part that can bring balance and harmony to any conflict, and that can change the world with a wave of a hand. No one considers doing this because no one thinks they have that capability, but you've already been doing it because it is within you and is always operating behind this physical aspect of you. More will become consciously aware of their abilities, and things will begin to change for everyone, everywhere. You will begin to use all your magic, parts of your heart, and very little to none of your brain. For the brain can only produce physical solutions because that is its job. It uses logic like a computer and solves for 1 + 1 = 2. It cannot see the bigger picture of you being a divine, eternal being of spirit who has never been born and who can never die. A being who sees everything from a view that includes everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. Therefore, the brain is simply a tool for the infinite you to use in this physical world of matter. Know that when you simply say, "That's not my world," you literally rearrange the atoms in matter and change the physical reality of existence. This is what every person on the planet is doing when they say, "That's not my world." Use your magic and follow your spirit. Disengage from reaction and use your brain only when led to, and you will begin to see the changes that your heart has truly desired. They will first happen in you, and then they will happen to everything around you. You will have moments of seeing it, and that will let you know that it is working, even as the world of conflict seems to be operating as usual. Just imagine everyone in the world living this way. It would be a new world. But in fact, we only need 51%, the 100th monkey, for it to become the primary way that we live. And just think, by the time I finish reading these words, there will be over 1,000 new children born who will come onto the planet already in line with this way of being. And we are creating a world that will not resist what they already know. So the tide will most certainly be turning. Yes, the tide is turning, and you are a big part of it happening. Keep watching the old beliefs fall away. Keep feeling the presence of hypersonic magic, and fuck them. And when you hear or see one other person disengaging from those beliefs by saying, "That's not my world anymore," know that you did that, and that you are part of the change for humanity that you have already made within yourself. Smile and know for sure, even if it is just one person, that the tide is turning. That one person could take us to that 51%. So celebrate and know that the tide is most certainly turning. No matter what it looks like on the outside, the tide is most certainly turning. Cheers, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back and speaking to you. Until next time, wishing you a perfect life with perfect health, the end of all beliefs, and you knowing that you are the magic one. Thank you for listening. I am David.